In life, there are several types of ruptures. The first one that naturally comes to mind and that we've all more or less experienced at least once in our lives and which can be very painful is a romantic breakup. The second is the one that can separate us from a job we like or, on the contrary, from a job we hate. That's the termination of a contract. And the third one, it comes one day without warning. It hits you like you've been struck in the ankle with a baseball bat. And I can tell you it hurts because I've been through it. That's an Achilles tendon rupture. And that's what we're going to talk about today. An injury that happened to me about 3 weeks ago and that could keep me sidelined for the next 7 or 8 months, maybe even longer. Before talking to you about that, since I'm slowly returning to YouTube, I made a video explaining why I stopped, which you should watch. I won't repeat it, just wanted to say everything's fine. And I hope that you are doing well too. I'm going to tell you about what happened to me, about my little accident, and I'll explain why I won't be able to travel for the next few months. And most importantly, I'm going to need your help at the end because I'm going to ask you a little question and I would really like to have your opinion. So, my complete Achilles tendon rupture, how did it happen? Well, it's simple. It's December. I was supposed to go on another adventure then. During that month, for a new country, a new adventure, a new season. Anyway, it was all positive, nice things were happening, except, well, I found myself on the soccer field about 3 weeks ago. I was just hanging out with some friends. So just a casual soccer game, because the kind of games I used to play about 10 years ago, that's not possible anymore with my lower back problems, my hip problems and all that. I still enjoy playing soccer now and then to clear my head and run around. That's what being passionate feels like. And soccer players will tell you, despite the injuries, despite everything that can happen to us, we still like to go clear our minds and kick the ball around sometimes, and that's what I did. So I got to the field, I warmed up, I stretched, because it's not like when you're 20 and you come to the field and you don't stretch or warm up. After a certain age, you have to do it. So I was playing with my friends, just chilling. At one point, I had the ball at my feet. It was a small field, a 5-a-side field, like indoor 5-a-side, but outdoors. And I had the ball, I was in the middle of the field, I was looking for an option. I didn't know if I was gonna make a little pass, to my buddy on the right. I didn't know if I was gonna try a fake shot and take a shot from midfield, except I didn't understand what was happening. I felt a really sharp pain, like someone came up behind me and swept my legs. A big kick to my left ankle. It's like a baseball bat or iron bar smashing your ankle. That's how it felt. In a split second, I was on the ground, not understanding what was happening. And when I came to my senses, I asked the people around me at the stadium who touched me, who hit me, and they answered, no one touched you. You fell on your own? No, that's it, I wasn't touched. I thought, that's strange, how did this happen? I've played soccer for years, what happened? No one was behind me. I was the last player, with only the goalkeeper left, but he was far away. The goalkeeper doesn't tackle his own teammate, so no one went for the ball. How did I end up on the ground all by myself? So, at first, I actually thought that my right leg had hit my left leg, but the thing is I actually didn't remember that happening. If I had done that to myself after years of playing soccer, I would have noticed. They kindly helped me off the field. I sat down for a while and put on some cream, and I went home somehow on my scooter. It wasn't easy, but I managed. I got home, took a shower, I put ice on right away, and I put ointment on right away. I took a little pill, a painkiller, and I sat down. I told myself, well, it can't be much, it'll be better tomorrow, I'll get some rest, and that's it. But I promise you it's true. The moment when it gave out, when I fell, when I came to my senses, the first thing I thought about was my trip. I said to myself, damn, shoot, if I got a serious injury, how am I gonna go on my trip? It's been 6 months since I last traveled. It's been 6 months since I shot a video. Videos. I was motivated. I was so happy. I wanted to start again. New country, new life, new destination, new video. Anyway, new camera, new microphone. It was cool and I felt really good and everything. I was so happy and then, bam, it happened to me. And actually, by the way, there were some friends at the field who told me nobody touched you, but we heard a snap. I didn't hear anything. So the day after this event, when I wake up, I'm still in pain. And the worst part of all this is that I remember when I got back from the field. So right after this little incident in the afternoon, I had things to do. After showering, resting and icing, I took my scooter out to run errands while limping. Crazy, right? The next day I woke up still in pain. And then I tell myself, this is strange, something's up. So I do a bit of research, more or less, and I realize that I might have actually ruptured my Achilles tendon. The only thing is, I needed to figure out if it was a partial or a complete tear. If it's partial, it doesn't require surgery, it takes a long time to heal, but it doesn't need a surgical intervention. On the other hand, if it's a complete tear, that means, well, the tendon is ruptured and it needs to be repaired. So imagine a rubber band, like this. Well, that's the tendon in two pieces, and you have to, well, do a bit of stitching to sew it back together and repair it. A tendon doesn't heal on its own, actually. It's not like a broken wrist where you put on a cast, and after a month with a bit of rehab, it gets better. No, I know, because I've also broken my wrist before, playing soccer actually. Maybe it's time to stop. And all this to say that, so 2 days after this happened, I decided to go see a doctor. I didn't go to the emergency room, I went to see a doctor to get an initial assessment. He tells me to get an ultrasound since he can't see clearly, but it's possible it's a complete tear. So from there, a series of medical appointments followed, starting with an ultrasound, where the healthcare professional told me, listen, honestly, it doesn't look good. I think you have a pretty serious injury. The only thing is, I can't determine if it's a complete tear, you need to get an MRI, but in my opinion, you're going to be out for quite a while. So already, that hits you hard.
Bam, it feels like a real blow. You think to yourself,
damn, everything I had planned for the end of the year, the beginning of the year, all of that, shoot, everything is falling apart. Especially, you know, like I said, it's been a long time since I traveled, since I vlogged and everything, so now, well. So I get an MRI on the same day. By the way, hello to Nico, if he ever watches this video, who was able to get me a very quick appointment. He was a subscriber I met back in the day, on the day of an exam in a hospital in Paris. So I contact him and explain the situation to him. I explained the situation, and thanks to him, I got an appointment that very same day, because otherwise MRI appointments take a really long time, and I truly thank him from the bottom of my heart if he watches this video. So then, I go for my MRI. Again, the doctor tells me it's really badly damaged, there are just a few fibers left. It's almost complete, your tendon is really about 95% damaged, but I can't tell you if you'll need surgery. So, you need to see a specialist. So I end up in the emergency room, I see a doctor, and he didn't even need to look at the MRI. He did a test by touching my calf, and he told me it's complete. So you'll need surgery, and from there, everything went very quickly. He put me in touch with a surgeon he knew, and I had to have surgery very quickly because the problem is, if it starts to heal a little bit inside, it becomes very hard to operate on later. So the tendon needs to be operated on very quickly. So the following week, I had surgery. I won't lie, I was a bit apprehensive. I wasn't afraid because I really didn't have a choice. It was either that, or I'd be left with a foot that might never move again. You have to get surgery, it doesn't heal on its own. Actually, I had this thought cross my mind. I thought, wow, we're lucky to live in this era, because in the Middle Ages, someone who had this kind of injury would spend their whole life like that, with a tendon that doesn't heal on its own. So basically, they'd lose the use of one foot, that's it. The person likely could never walk again before. That's why I say we're lucky to live now. From what I know, it's still serious, but treatable. There are many athletes, by the way, who have had this injury, like David Beckham in 2010, just before the World Cup in South Africa. Presnel Kimpembe from Paris Saint-Germain also had 2 Achilles tendon ruptures, I believe. He did too.
I had an Achilles tendon rupture. It's the worst injury. It's worse than an ACL tear for those who don't know. It wasn't easy, it wasn't simple.
And so it happened to me. I'm neither one nor the other, but I love walking, I love sports. When I met the surgeon, I asked why this happened to me and how that could happen. I sometimes had minor tendon pain, mostly in my right foot, not my left where it occurred, but I never thought it could actually snap. And he told me it happens to athletes like you, occasional or regular, in your age group, you know, between 30 and 40 years old, it happens without warning. So I ended up having surgery. Like I said, there wasn't really any fear, but there was a bit of apprehension, of course, because even if it's not necessarily well, you know. This isn't a minor cold, we're talking about surgery. It's never pleasant to go under the knife and there's always some apprehension, but it went well. By the way, I remember they gave me something to help me relax and poof. So I wasn't out of it or anything, I was myself, you know, everything was fine, but it's true that it really calms you down. And so the operation went well, it actually went by really fast, it lasted what, like 20 minutes? I saw the surgeon come in, bam bam boom, they put up a little curtain because I wasn't under general anesthesia, I was under regional anesthesia, so they just numbed the lower part of my body and I had the operation. And then I went home. I was really lucky at that time to have my parents, whom I thank a lot, who were and still are an incredible help to me every day. Because on your own, it's very complicated. You know, when you can't use your legs to cook, to do everything, everything becomes complicated. Actually, when you go grocery shopping, it's very complicated to do everything on crutches, especially when you're not allowed to put your foot on the ground. Because now, from this point on, I'm in full recovery. it's been about 15 days since I had surgery, so I don't have a cast, I have this instead. I don't know if you can see it very well, it's a bit of a strange angle, but here it's a boot. I kind of have a Robocop foot. It's a boot. Let me get a better shot so you can see it. And I'm not allowed to put weight on it or anything actually. For 3 weeks, I'm not allowed to put any weight on the injured foot. I still even have the stitches. I have to tell you, I have a nice warrior scar. And now, in about less than a week, they're going to remove the stitches and I'll finally be able to put weight on my leg with my crutches, no problem, on the leg that had the rupture, but still with the boot. So from now on, a pretty long healing process is going to start. I'll be able to walk again, little by little, with the boot, with the help of crutches and with the boot. So I have a whole program that the surgeon explained to me in detail, but I know that to get back my former physical abilities, it's going to take me at least 7 to 8 months, maybe more. So you see, it's quite a program. Normal walking in 3 months, avoiding complications, re-rupture, because that can happen. I actually met a man, poor guy, when I was in the hospital. I talked with him on the day of the operation. He was coming in for another operation because actually he was all alone. His family lives abroad. That really made me feel bad for him. That's when I thought, wow, I'm actually really lucky. Since he was all alone, he had to do everything by himself. He strained his foot too much in the first 3 weeks, despite not being allowed to put weight on it. By pushing too hard with his boot, he tore his Achilles tendon again and needed a second surgery. So you really have to be very disciplined and follow exactly what the surgeon recommends. So the rehabilitation starts in 6 weeks. I know that, about 40 days after the operation, I have a second appointment with the surgeon. Between 6 and 12 weeks, it's written that I can return to work. Work will be a bit complicated for me since I make travel videos and need to walk. Muscle strengthening, the goal is to walk without limping and to stand on tiptoes with both feet. So, 3 to 6 months before returning to sports. He's very optimistic. Then, return to sports without sprinting in the 4th month. Usually after 7 to 8 months you return to sports and walking. That's it. So, having talked with people who had the same thing, they told me that it heals very well, that the tendon is almost stronger than before once it's repaired. And above all, doctors are generally a bit optimistic about the 7 to 8 month timeline. It takes about a year to fully recover from this injury, but after that you can walk again, play sports without worry, and so on. Most importantly, you must be truly serious about rehabilitation. So really, a lot of people told me to try to find a physical therapist who specializes in sports, someone who specializes in this type of injury, and really be very diligent, very disciplined. So, well, in any case, that's good because I want to heal, I want to get better. So I'm going to give it my all in rehab to get better. And actually, I understood the meaning of this injury. At first, we wonder why this is happening to us, especially when we have new projects underway. I took some time to listen to the world, as Jean-Claude Van Damme says, to notice the signs. It's a bit like in the book The Alchemist, because I'm rereading that book right now. It's a very beautiful book that I recommend to you, by the way. So, by listening to the signs, I actually understood why this happened to me now. Because I was coming out of a very complicated year in 2024, and I think I needed rest, that I wasn't 100% recovered physically and mentally. And I probably needed that to take a breather, and above all, to have time to develop new projects that I had put on hold for years. And in particular, well, there you go, I can tell you because it's not a secret, and I also want to share it with you because it's good news. I'm writing a book. I realized that in the end, the meaning of my injury was kind of like fate. I mean, it was really meant to be. I had to get injured to start writing this book. I was contacted a few days before my injury. It's crazy, isn't it? A publisher asked, Ben Nako, would you like to write a book about your travels? I said, absolutely. I'd thought about it for years, but didn't know where to start or how. I wanted to write about my travels, those wonderful years, amazing encounters, and beautiful discoveries. I didn't have that spark, the thing that excites you. Mostly, I didn't want to be alone for my first book. I needed someone with me. I thought it was crazy, but I was about to head off again. I wouldn't have had any time, actually, no time for writing, because when you're fully into an adventure, you're managing the trip itself, the fatigue, the videos, the content, everything. So I wouldn't have had the time, actually, to write this book. I thought to myself, wow, this is crazy. It's happening at a good time, but that's actually the upside of my injury. So just to let you know, everything's fine, my spirits are up. I'm lucky because I put things into perspective a lot. I'm lucky to have a family that supports me every day and it really makes me happy and I thank them. I'm lucky to have you too. I got many messages on social media after talking about it, especially on Instagram and Facebook. And I really thank you for your kindness and your support. I didn't have time to reply to everyone, and to be honest, I don't even know if I will because I received so many messages and it really touched me a lot. So If I didn't reply to you, please don't take it personally. It's not my fault, it's just very time consuming. You know, I tried to open all the Instagram messages, say get well soon, thank you so much, and so on, but it's just too time consuming. After a while, it's impossible. And actually, you keep getting new ones, and more. So I'd rather just say a big honest and sincere thank you from the bottom of my heart like this. So really thank you, it really touched me a lot. And that's it, we're here. What I can tell you is that I won't be able to travel. Traveling, well, it's not over forever, and fortunately, and I hope so, you know. As I mentioned, I have about 8 months left. I absolutely love walking when I travel. I can walk 15 to 20 kilometers a day exploring. I also sometimes like to do some unusual activities, or even sometimes play a little soccer with the locals. It's a way to socialize while traveling.
There you go, little soccer game finished. A pretty nice experience. 1 assist, 1 goal, a golazo, golazo, French golazo, Bayo, Bragino Griezmann. Thank you very much. There you go, the soccer session is over. Hope there's still time for the botanical garden.
As for soccer, I think I'm retiring again. But what I'm going to say is that from now on, aside from this goal of writing a book and then other goals that I've set for myself, to learn a new language, some pretty cool things, to take advantage of this recovery period to try to read a bit more, something I never really did much in my life. I want to read quite a few self-help books and various books of all kinds. By the way, if you have any, feel free to recommend some to me. All this to tell you that I don't really know what kind of content I'll be able to offer you on this channel, because I've always, from the beginning, made travel videos for you. That's my passion. Adventuring with a backpack, exploring the world and its people. I haven't made any videos for 6 months already, and since I probably still won't be able to, as you've probably gathered, I won't be able to travel for 7 to 8 months, maybe even longer. What am I going to be able to offer you? I don't know. And that's really where I'm asking you the question, knowing that you probably discovered me thanks to those travel videos, whether it was in Portugal, Turkey, Algeria, Morocco, or Latin America, and that you probably subscribe to see travel videos. So I know that often on YouTube we always tend to put people into categories. That is, well, you make travel videos and we only want to see travel videos from you. We don't want to see you make fitness videos or personal development videos or videos about, I don't know. Anyway, I know that often it's like Thibault Inchep. Well, even though now he does a lot of things, he used to do bodybuilding. We want to see him only do bodybuilding. And there are people who, for example, follow him just for bodybuilding. There are people who don't care about seeing his content outside of bodybuilding and sports. If he makes content that's completely different from what he usually does, there are people who just won't be interested. I've often felt people get put into categories. If you do recipes, that's all they want to see you do. You do food vlogs, and that's what we want to see. That's probably why people subscribed, which is normal. But I think a channel, in the end, a YouTube channel in my opinion, isn't really about a concept or a category of videos. It's also mainly about a personality we either like or don't like, and that we might want to see evolve one day, do other things, or, you know, it might also allow you to reach a different audience. But that's why I'm asking you today, what would you like to see on this YouTube channel? Would you like me to share my recovery with you? So I'll be completely honest with you about how I see things. I'm really gonna give it my all in rehab, and I set a goal for myself. It's that in 8 months, if I'm better, I'll do a big hike, really, to mark the occasion. So, I'm not an ex-stag, right? I don't have my telemark skis. That would really require a lot of training and also a lot of financial resources. But I thought, well, at my level, to do something to mark the occasion. So I had some ideas for hikes, and I don't know why suddenly one of them came to my mind. It's Kilimanjaro, the highest peak in Africa. And I thought, why not mark the occasion by making Kilimanjaro the goal for these next few months? So, originally, I wanted to open a secondary channel because I didn't want to mix everything together. Open a secondary channel to show a bit of my daily life, my rehab, how things are going to go, how things are going, and so on. But the problem is, if I open a secondary channel, it's a bit annoying, and I'm going to abandon this channel, and that's a shame. I've put so much effort, so much energy into it that I think it's a bit silly. And then, you know how it works. Well, actually, maybe you don't know, but basically YouTube. If you stop posting, unless your name is Squeezy or Cyprian, but if you stop posting tomorrow, well, it's over. Actually, your channel falls into limbo in the YouTube game, and actually it sends signals that you're no longer active, so it doesn't send any more notifications, that's it. It doesn't send any sign of life anymore, actually. So the secret kind of, well, it's not really a secret, but it's kind of like on all platforms. It's ultimately about being consistent, offering content regularly and so on. So it's clear that if you don't post anything for 6 months, a year and a half, you're not sending great signals to YouTube. So The question was whether I should create a second channel or post on this one. So I thought about it a lot and I decided I'll post on this one, even if not everyone will like it. So I made the decision to do it on this channel and to share my recovery. So I don't know in what format, if it will be one video per week, one video, no, maybe not per day because I'm focused on writing, but I know that my daily life, I'm not going to lie to you right now, it's not the most exciting in the world, you know. I can't do much, I'm on crutches, I don't go out, or very little actually, not at all, only when I have important things to do, like medical appointments. I spend a lot of time lying down to elevate my leg a bit because I often have these little, little tingling sensations. I can't stay in certain positions for too long. And above all, well, I also have the nurse, who comes to my home. So, well, obviously, and then I can't go out, I can't walk, I just can't do anything, quite simply. But besides that, I stay active. I post vertical videos on my social media, like Instagram, if you're not following me, TikTok, and so on. And then I'm writing my book. And now I really have this goal and I'm very happy about it. It really motivates me every day. I've already found the through line and I hope it will be a great book, a real success. In any case, I'm going to give my all to see this project through to the end. So that's it. Now you know everything about my Achilles tendon rupture. I'm going to have to leave you now, okay? It's always, I don't know why, but I find that introductions are always easier than conclusions, but I have nothing else to say to you. The message has been delivered. So I wish you a wonderful holiday season. I don't know when I'll post this video, before Christmas, after New Year's, I don't know. So no matter when I post it, I wish you a wonderful holiday season, or if it's already over, well, I hope you had a wonderful holiday season. And, well, there you go. A wonderful and happy 2035, and above all, good health, which is really the most important thing. Take good care of yourselves. Mental health, physical health, emotional health, everything, but really health for you and your loved ones. Lots of good things, lots of good vibes. We'll start traveling again, I promise. Kilimanjaro is the goal, and if it's not Kilimanjaro, it'll be another beautiful hike, maybe, I don't know, on the Camino de Santiago, but we'll give it our best, really. So I want to thank you for always being there, for always sticking with me. You should know that if content and content creators can make a living from their passion, and if their channels keep thriving, it's thanks to you, thanks to your interactions, your kindness, your likes, your comments, your shares. So thank you all. Thank you very much. Big hugs to you all, and I'll see you very soon. And really, reply to me in the comments. Tell me what you would like if you have any ideas. Just one thing. For now, I'm on crutches. So for those of you who will say, well, it would be cool if you tried out some restaurants because that's kind of, in line with what you do when you try different foods abroad. Maybe you could go to some neighborhoods in Paris and try traditional foods from your travels and so on. I'm on crutches for now, so it's really hard for me to go out. Maybe when I can start walking again little by little, it'll be a small victory. Maybe I could offer that kind of content, but for now I really have no idea. I know that I really want to start making YouTube videos again, but apart from offering you motivational content during my recovery, I don't know what else. So there you go. If I have no ideas, it's no big deal. We'll return to travel videos in a few months. Sending love, kisses, bye. Ciao.